And welcome back to the channel. Welcome to a place called Linn Caves. This is in Blairskaith, which is about 10 minutes from Mulgai, and it is fantastic. I've been here for about 40 minutes. I've scouted pretty much this whole bit of the area anyway, down to the riverbeds. I haven't been in there yet because I've got my torch with me and I'm a bit scared, so I'm going to hype myself up for that in a minute. But that's a cave system. This is a cave system of limestone. It's a quarry that was man-made. It's obviously still here. It's obviously not used anymore, but it's still here. And it looks like a fantastic place to explore. Maybe not so much for photography, but I mean, if you like sort of flashy photography and stuff, then this might be the place for you. For me, I'm here to shoot that, which is the Linn Caves waterfall. I expected with the amount of flooding and rain that we got yesterday that would be torrential actually, but it's not. It's a bit of a trickle, but it's fine. It's enough to get a good shot. So when I was down on the riverbed, I managed to get a really awesome picture. I've got a sort of portrait photograph, and I think I managed to catch a rainbow in it, so fingers crossed. Found a really cool slate rock down there, which is obviously fell off this part of the quarry, and I used that as foreground on the riverbed, so it just looks brilliant, absolutely brilliant. There's some fresh sort of limey green leaves down there as well, which really added a bit of colour and a bit of punch to that sort of shiny black rock. It just looks amazing. So the light today is coming and going. It was really sunny earlier, which allowed me to get some beautiful sort of streaks across the waterfall, and some of the foreground lit up really well, and it looks absolutely brilliant. At the moment it's clouding over a little bit, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I'm thankful that I've already shot this part. So I've only got one more photograph in mind for here, and it involves me going in there. Like all these things, it always happens. My eyes are definitely playing tricks on me. Quite a spooky little place in there. Yeah, let's see if I'm brave enough to go in there. I might not be. And then I've got another shot here, which is shooting along the side of the waterfall sort of rocky bed here. And there's a bit of a runoff coming off into the next bit of the waterfall. So I've used that runoff as a bit of a sort of leading line up to the waterfall. Tried to kind of cut out as much of the sky as I could, because it's just white. There's not really much going on just now. It was quite cloudy, so when I was shooting that photograph earlier, it was still pretty cloudy, so I kind of just cropped the sky out, which I think adds more to the sort of density of this area. It's it's a bit of a canopy above us, so it's quite a dense, lush green area. It's just beautiful. It's definitely colder here as well now. Oh, there's a squirrel. Loads of squirrels here as well. God, I'm like that wee dog in that film that just goes, squirrel! We're going to go to one more location which is nearby. My geez. Oh, there's sun coming back out again. But as far as this location goes, this is definitely one to visit at all times of the year. The path down's a wee bit sketchy, it's a wee bit slippy. I would imagine in snow and icy months, probably not a good idea to come down, because it's a bit of a drop down to the riverbed. But just now it's a little bit mucky, but it's not so bad. So if you're going to come down here, it's you can find it on OS Maps as well. So I managed to drop a pin in Google Maps once I had the coordinates, and then I just sort of abandoned the car in a lay-by, which is about 2 seconds down the road, and then walked up, and there's a very clear dirt little path that comes down here. Providing you do your research. Oh, there's the sun come back out again. Quite an easy place to find, and definitely worth a visit. Right, here we go. It's actually so cold here, you can see steam or something coming off the... Actually loads of them. It's a bit sketchy. Right, well, here we are inside the waterfall. Huge cave system in here. Probably can't hear me because of that waterfall, but very easy to get lost in there, I think. It goes all the way down that way. There's water everywhere, obviously. Right, let's grab one shot here. I'm going to try and light it up, I think, as well. I'm getting ripped on, lovely. Thanks, Caves. Let's have a look. Still sitting at F11 at the moment. Right, so we're going to get exposed for the outside part, which is the waterfall. And then we're going to expose for the inside part, which is in here. I'll probably do a wee bit of light painting on at it. Since I can, since it's dark enough. Provided I'm not getting this light in front of my lens, it should be alright. So we're going to go for a 6-second exposure here and see what we can get. The key with light painting is to go very, very slowly. That's cool, so I'll just blend that photograph with the other photograph that I took. Right, now that I've successfully soaked myself, let's back it. Right, I have no idea if you can actually see any of that in there. Very, very, very creepy little place. Turn that off. It's a very cold place in there. So hopefully my photograph will work out. I've exposed for the rocks, done a long exposure with a little bit of light painting, and then exposed for the outsides, which has the waterfall and the trees and stuff. So yeah, let's go to location number 2 and see how that looks. Head to the Linux Forest car park. So welcome to Linux Forest. This is lovely. It's very, very peaceful. It's very dark though, so I'm shooting handheld at the moment because I just keep finding different compositions, but I'm not sure which ones I prefer. So I've not brought the tripod with me, I've left it in the car, and I've just come in for a wee stroll in this part of the forest here, which is awesome. I just wish there was a wee bit more light, but I just want a wee bit of light just to poke through. When I arrived, the sun was out, so there was definitely potential for light to break through these trees, which is what I wanted. I wanted sun rays and all sorts of stuff. So I'm going to come back here probably on another day, probably closer to autumn, winter time. Get here very early in the morning because there should be loads of fog and mist about, and I think this place is perfect candidate for that sort of shot. Yeah, I have taken a few handheld shots already here. I'll show you what I was sort of shooting a minute ago. So one I liked in particular was this tree here, that tree there. There's another tree, and these ones are pretty broken looking. It looks like squirrels have been having an absolute field day on them. It's like jungle gym for squirrels. So what I liked was I got quite low, got some of that moss in the base, which then led you through, and all this sort of ground is very, very vibrant looking on the camera. It's very red, and compared against the darkness of the trees and the fact that they're being sort of very softly side lit by a big giant softbox up there, makes for quite a nice sort of spooky image. It's cold enough to see your breath, which it was 24 degrees before I came in here, and it just shows you the temperature change. Like as soon as you walk into a place like this, it's instantly probably 10 degrees colder than it should be. So for this shot here, I was shooting at f8 and 40th of a second, which is just fast enough to shoot handheld. Any slower than that I would have needed a tripod, but that allows for most of the light to come down and light up the foreground, light up the ground here, light up the sides of the trees, so it gives me just enough light to play with in explore, but I'm definitely going to come back here and explore this area more because I haven't even scratched the surface of this forest. So obviously it's mostly these huge pine trees which are stunning, but loads of them have fallen over and stuff, so there's a lot of interesting character here, and I haven't even scratched the surface of this forest yet. I still got all the way around and across there to explore as well, so I'm definitely going to come back here. This is definitely a to be revisited location. The other photographs from today I'll post at the end as well, just so you can have a proper look at them. But this isn't far from where I live. This is not far from Glasgow. This is only about 15 minutes by car. It's very popular with dog walkers. Two big vans turned up at the same time as me with about 10 dogs in each van, so it must be, there's another path which I noticed that the dog walkers were going down, which I'm assuming links you to the other part of the forest, so that'll be something else I'll have a look at when I come back another time as well. So I'm going to wrap up today's video here, and I hope you've enjoyed our wee jaunt around this part of Eastern Berkshire. It's definitely an undiscovered, untapped location which I've never been to before, and I didn't even know this bit actually existed until today. Well, I done my research obviously and found it, but I'm glad I did because it's definitely a potential for coming back. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video, and if you liked this video then like and subscribe, and if you really like this video then click the notification bell, and until next week I'll see you soon. Bye!